Hi, I'm Björn, and you are a viewer. Oh, God. This is going to be a really weird video. The title of this video is called My Life So Far, and I will try to answer the question how I ended up where I am in my life right now. And this video is probably interesting to you only if you know me or you want to get to know me. So if you're not interested in investing time, because this is gonna be probably gonna be a long video. If you don't want to get to know me better or want to know more about me, this video it's not gonna be entertaining. This video will not be funny. It will not be silly. It will be silly sometimes because whenever I try to talk, it gets silly sometimes. But it's just gonna be a long vlog, basically. So, my life so far. It's, and this is my life. It started over here and now I'm here, right? I'm 30 years old. I'm working with streaming 5 days a week and streaming for 6 hours every session, 5 days a week. And I have this extra job in a grocery store. And somehow, I honestly, I'm surprised that I can actually live like this. I feel very lucky that I can pay my rent, pay for my food, and live in this like nice place together with nice people and do what I do something that I love, streaming and making friends and spreading positivity and having fun. So I feel very grateful and happy that I am where I am in my life. And also I want to make this video because I felt that I haven't uploaded anything on YouTube recently, and I didn't know what to upload, and I just felt like I wanted to share the story about how I ended up where I am now, because I find vlogs interesting when I watch other YouTubers and stuff. So whatever, maybe no one thinks this is interesting. That's okay. You don't have to watch this, but maybe someone do. So that's where I am. I like running, I love chocolate, I see my family, my brother and his family and my baby niece is there. They're a big part of my life. My dad is a big part of my life. Yeah, what else? Well, okay, let's start from that. That's where I am. Let's start from the beginning. How did I end up where I am? Also, this story involves a tragic event that I gone through where I lost my mom, which I will come to, and it's an essential part of the story, how I lost my mom. But it also the story begins with my mom as well, because she gave birth to me. Bloop! That's what it sounded like. Probably not, but I was born in a small city called Vetlanda, and I lived there for a few years. And my interest in games and video games started before I was like 4 years old. I was hooked on video games very early, and I don't think we didn't own video games or a console. I went to a friend's house to play Nintendo and Battletoads, and I don't know what games we played. I also have some weird memory of me planning to break out of daycare with a friend in daycare. Like how did I plot breaking out from daycare before I was even 4 years old together with a friend? Is that really a memory, or did I make that up afterwards? I'm not really sure. It feels, I remember it. Anyway, because we were gonna use my friend's dad's weapons. I don't know what kind of weapons. He had weapons. We were gonna use them to break out and from daycare. Daycare was prison to us. it was probably a great daycare. I probably had lots of fun, played, and all of that. Anyway, then we moved from Vetlanda, the city where I was first raised, where I grew up first, and we moved to Nässjö. And all these are like small cities in south of Sweden. And Nässjö has like 30,000 or 20,000 people living there. And that's where I really grew up, and that's where I was raised. That's where I lived up until I moved out, and until I was an adult and I started working and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I kept playing games. I played computer, Game Boy, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, emulators, and I just played games. I started to draw games. In school I would spend, when you have time to just draw whatever you want in school when you're young. I don't know if you had that. We had that. It was great. So I would draw just level designs of video games. I would make up dungeons and monsters and bosses, and where you have to find a key to unlock one door, and stuff like that. I was really into games and video games and computers, and I would sneak into we had the first computer we had was in my dad's office, because he was a teacher and he was expected, back then he was expected to have an office at home. Nowadays teachers have office at work, they have their own workplace at school, but back then he had an office and he had a computer with internet, and we had really slow internet with a beep beep ding 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 no no bang 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 bang. That's what it sounded like when we connected to internet with the modem. Some of you who are old enough will know what I'm talking about. Some of you will be just, what happened? Anyway, so I would sneak into my dad's office in the night, and I would put a pillow or something to suffocate the modem, to stop the silence the modem when it was dialing up, when it was connecting to internet, and I would play RuneScape and I would play stuff like that. And then I became a teenager, playing games. I started to feel a little bit depressed, because that's what you do when you're a teenager. I think because I didn't, I don't know. I think just a general sense of, who am I? I'm lost in life. What am I supposed to do? That kind of depression. Nothing major happened that, caused major anxieties or very deep depressions. Just a general, I think I was a little bit, I found it hard to feel confident around friends at school and know who I really wanted to make other people like me, just the general stuff. And around that time my parents started to confront me when it came to video games, and they told me that or they were saying that I was playing too much and stuff like that, and I had some conflicts with my parents, like all kids do who loves video games, I guess. A lot of kids do, and maybe you can relate to this too if you had this happening to you. That was also hard for me. I didn't want conflicts. I was scared of conflicts. Still am, to some extent. Not as much. Still a little bit scared of conflicts. And I stopped playing video games. I just kind of, I felt like it was a bad thing. I didn't know if I was supposed, I thought maybe I had to let go of video games because I was supposed to grow up. I'm not exactly sure what happened. All I know is I kind of drifted away from playing video games. So when I was when I was 17 years old, I played much less, and even less when I grew older. And in my 20s, early 20s, I almost let go completely for years of video games and playing games and stuff like that. So also I went traveling. I went volunteering in Mongolia, Hawaii. I worked in the daycare. I started studying at a university to be a teacher because my family and my relatives were working in schools. I couldn't think of anything else to work with or do than teaching or working in a school. That was familiar to me. I didn't have a passion. I didn't have my own direction in life. This is what I want to do. So I chose something that felt familiar to me, and I went with it. And I started studying teaching, like for a teaching degree, a bachelor. But it turned out it was going to be like 5 years at university, so quite a lot of years. But also I enjoyed studying, and I had a good time studying. So that wasn't a bad thing. I just wasn't, I like the idea of teaching and creating a good environment for kids and good lessons and teach stand in front of people and stuff like that. And I also got to go abroad for 1 semester. I went to Brighton, studied in University of Sussex. It was a good time. But in the second to last year in the university, that's when the really bad thing happened in my life, which is when I lost my mom, because she was in an accident in 2014, and she was on her bike. She was riding home from work, and she got hit by a car. She got thrown off the bike, and she got a severe injury. Like, she hit her head, and she got a really, really severe injury on her brain. It was, yeah, and in an instant, something just, that day, that moment when that happened, and my life just got completely flipped upside down. I just, everything stopped. I was devastated, and of course, and I never had anything like that happen to me. I had bad things happen to people around me, not where I was like, when I was kind of close, but not extremely close. And I never had this big bad thing happen to me, which is probably a good thing though. But now it happened to me, and I just stopped. For the first time in my life, I stopped everything. Like, everything I was doing, I stopped, and just, I was just devastated. I can't really, you're like suspended in this vacuum. You're just existing, and it's awful, but you're just there. And then somehow I managed to continue my studies and finish my studies at the university, which I think is a good thing. That really helped me be occupied doing something. It brought some sense of, meaning to my life, and it kept me going for those years. Also, just having the family, my dad. I had so much support from my dad, especially my dad, and the rest of my family, and friends, definitely friends in the community that we were a part of growing up. A lot of support. I don't know where I would be without that support. I would probably not be here. I would be alive, but maybe not in as a good place as I am now. So I finished university, and then and then I was like, so what now? What do I do now? The thing is, when I when I lost my mom, that was the first time that I really had to face my own, like when I had, for the first time, I had to take my own feelings seriously. Because my feelings, I kind of had a hard time connecting to my feelings, expressing my feelings, listening to what's going on the inside, and taking actions like according to what I feel, or like, you know, having that insight wasn't something but losing my mom made me, I had to, because I was so devastated, I was so broken, that I had to consider, like I had to consider my own feelings and emotion and my own state, just to, you know, get by and feel better. And so for the first time I like listen more carefully to my own needs and wants, and try to express them more and try to learn. I learned a lot about myself going through that really tragic and dark period. So after university, I asked myself, well, what do I actually want to do? Do I really want to be teaching? And I wasn't sure. I wanted to teach, because I knew a full-time job as a teacher, it's a lot of work. You have a lot of responsibility, a lot of work. A lot of teachers bring work home, and you have a lot of students, and you have a lot of commitments and a lot of stuff to keep up with all the time. And I just felt like that's and I was considerate enough to myself to know, like, to understand that I was stressed out by the thought of teaching stressed me out. So I took another job. I worked another job for almost a year, and that was fine. And then I was like, well, okay, I want to find out more about what do I want to do with my life. Because losing someone really close to you, someone you love dearly, someone you grew up with, your mom, losing your mom makes you, it affects everyone differently, of course, but it made me question everything. Like, why am I here? What is life? Who am I? What do I want to do? What is the meaning of life? And I was like, so this was like 3 years ago now, maybe, where I was like, okay, I need help. I need help sorting this out. I have so many questions. Where do I turn? Obviously, I still had support from my family and friends, but I wanted to, you know, do something more practical where I, you know, just got some more answers to all these questions that I had. And I took a course. I took a course, like a personal development course, that really helped me map out some of my, map my personality, understand my strengths and weaknesses, deal with some of my fears and like negative concepts that I was like, you know, carrying around, stuff that was holding me back. And also that's where I developed my, that was the first time I expressed my kind of like passion, what I want to work with, my life purpose, you could call it. Like, and it was something along the lines of, I want to inspire people by sharing. I can't remember exactly, but inspire people in some way. And you could say spread positivity. That's what I'm talking a lot about nowadays. But it was something along the lines with inspiring people. So this course really helped me. Also, I went to see a professional, like a therapist. I went to see a therapist. I went almost for a year. I went there to just talk about and deal with stuff that I had, luggage. uh, and from the past, and I didn't know I wanted to stream, but I had some ideas for different things I wanted to try, and I tried writing. I tried writing a play where I was singing and like sharing my life story through like a kind of a one-man show where I played my own songs, and the whole play was about life and death, and it was, I don't know. And I tried that, and then I tried teaching. So I worked at the schools because I really wanted to find out if teaching really was something I was. I tried it before during my studies, but I hadn't really tried working with it. So I tried it for 6 months, and then so these were all like projects. I tested the waters to see where is my passion. I found out like more about who I am, but I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And the best way that I could think of to come to understand what that thing was that I wanted to do for work was to try different things, just test it for a few weeks, for a few months, and see what it felt like. Then you know more than you did before, and you can evaluate, and you can keep going or move on. And then finally, at the beginning of this year, in what year is it? 2019? 18? It's 2018. Wow. Don't know what year it is. That's how confused I am. This year, beginning of this year, I started streaming because that was next on my list. Well, I want to try streaming. I tried YouTube before, but I want to have like this more of a real-time connection to people. And I tried streaming, and boom. I felt like, yes, this is it. This is the best thing I have ever worked with in my life. This streaming like brings together so many things that I enjoy. Making friends, playing games, having fun, inspiring people, which was part of my life purpose that I discovered. Wow. But like seriously, a lot of things came together in streaming, and I felt peace and a sense of like, okay, I could do this. Like this, I could work with this and be happy. And that was something really amazing. And it took me almost up until now to really, go through the process of testing streaming and then making a decision to keep going, and then finally now feeling like, okay, this is what I will do for work. And that's where I am today. I want to do this for my work, hopefully for my living, make a little bit of money to survive and stuff. But that's not the end goal anyway. I want to spread positivity, make friends, have fun, all of that stuff. That is what is most important to me. And if I can do this for work, for like the next years, coming years, throughout my 30s maybe, who knows, then that's great. Then that's amazing. And I wrote a song about my mom, and in the song the chorus goes something like, it's in Swedish, but it goes something like, you live inside me and I live thanks to you, and I see the world through your eyes and I smile with your smile, because I feel like even though if we lose something we love, if we really love that person or that thing, they still live on inside of us. And so my mom is still present in my experience of life, and I have my mom to thank for everything, almost everything. A lot of things, including playing the guitar. She was the first person to teach me the basics, and I went on from there. So that's the story about how I like my life so far and how I ended up here. This is a very short version, but it's 25 minutes almost now. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for letting me share this with you. If you watched this whole video, mad respect to you, and I'll see you soon, and take care. I love you guys. Bye.